This is the most unedited footage of this session I have, for reasons I won't get into.
Mary, are you here? Is the realm before ever incarnating, is that layered with the third, fourth, and fifth dimension too? Is that part of the layered paradigm? Is the dream realm that all third dimensional people share, is that layered within the third, fourth, and fifth dimension? What's going on with that realm? What realm is that a part of? Is that a part of the third dimension? Yes. I was wondering, Mary, so Icarus, when he was in the fourth dimension and you were in the third dimension, did he watch you a lot while you were in the third dimension? No. What types of things did he do in the fourth dimension? Because he was in the fourth dimension for pretty much like 8 of your lives. What did he do while he was in the fourth dimension? G R E W. He grew. Did he meet with your soul, like, in between your lives? Like, did you two meet up? Did Icarus, was he all bumpy while he was in the fourth dimension, and then he became less bumpy as he was in the fourth dimension? No. So after his, I guess he died as a baby or he was aborted or something, he was just smooth and reached his true self after that? After his one very short life? He was just his true self. Mary, so are there soul groups in the fifth dimension? Because I remember you told me that the Anshar is a soul group in the fourth dimension, but there's no Anshar soul group in the fifth dimension. So is there are there soul groups in the fifth dimension? Yes. So why is there no Anshar in the fifth dimension? Do soul groups change or something? How does that work? O U L. I think you did S S G A T H E R I N G R O T or no, U P S. Mary, is there gravity in the fifth dimension? No. Is there gravity in the fourth dimension? No. why is the soul group in the Anshar? Why are they not? Why don't they exist in the fifth dimension? S O U L S A R E D I F E R. That was two F's. E N T. Souls are different. So are you saying that the soul changes from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension, to where the soul groups that you have in the, I guess, third and fourth dimension are sort of irrelevant in the fifth dimension? Is that sort of what you're saying? No. T I I E S R S O T L G, or no, that was an S A R E C R E A T E R. Oh no, that's a D D I E. No, F F E R E N T F R O N. Is that an H U N A N. Okay, Mary, I didn't get a lot of that message. The first one I got was, it was like THIES or something like that. What was the first word you wrote? T H I E R. There, so you got there. Their souls are recreated different from. Did you say their souls are recreated different from human? The fifth dimensional souls, are you saying, are recreated different than human? No. Are you saying the fourth dimensional souls are recreated different from human? Okay, what souls are recreated different than human? A N S H A R. So you're saying that the souls of the Anshar are different than human souls. Is that right? Mary, when people talk about extraterrestrial souls here in the third dimension, they that's kind of what they mean, is it's like a different than a human soul. So in a way, I think that the Anshar are maybe extraterrestrials. What do you think about that? No. Okay, so if their souls are different than human souls, what kind of souls are they? The Anshar. If they're not extraterrestrials and they're not human, what kind of souls are they? A N S H A R. They're Anshar souls. What's different about Anshar souls than human souls? C H E N I S R Y. Did you mean chemistry? They are made of different chemistry? In what way is their chemistry different? I C O N O T G E T T O K N O W I. You say I can't. What was the word that started with a C? I got I and then C. Did you say I cannot know? I D. Oh, I do not. That was a D. I do not know. Is that what you said? I do not know? No? O N O T G get G E T T O K N O W. I got that. I do not get to know. So you don't really know, you just know that they're different. Have you ever been around an Anshar before? No. That's very interesting. So I'm kind of curious, Mary, like, if they're not human and you just consider them Anshar, like, why don't you consider them extraterrestrial? I guess you do you take issue with just the word terrestrial or something? Yes. Cool. So you just consider them different beings, different type of compositional beings. Yes. Mary, so once we talked about how people can be like, they can meditate and what have you, and they can go to the fourth dimension with their soul. What would be a reason why a 3D person would want to go to the fourth dimension with their soul? Like, why would someone want that? C U R I O S I T Y. Curiosity. What do these curious 3D people that go to the fourth dimension? What do they do while they're in the fourth dimension? S E E. Just see. They just go to see the fourth dimension. Do they engage in any activities while they're in the fourth dimension, or are they just kind of there briefly and then that's that? Yes. So I'll just take that to mean, like, yeah, they just kind of go there and that's that. Mary, I once once we talked about how people are drunk, and if they're drunk, they black out, but they're whatever's being recorded, it's still recorded. I was wondering, if a person blacked out and then they behaved, say, like destructively, but they were like secluded, and they were drunk, would they still have their episode recorded? Would that be recorded in the realm before ever incarnating? If they were secluded and drunk and blacked out and doing something destructive, would that be recorded? Yes. Mary, I was wondering, can they see more than just my threads? Like, can they see my physical body? Like, I know you can just see my threads. Can leaders see my body? Yes. I believe I just asked this question, but was Icarus his true self when he first went to 4D after his life? He like went there and he was his true self? Like right when he got to the fourth dimension? No. So he was all smooth, but he wasn't his true self. Is that true when he went to the fourth dimension? What determined that he was his true self, even though he was all smooth? Like, how did he know that, or how did people know that he was his true self if he was all smooth? Like, what made him his true self? W O R K E R S, workers. I N 4 D D E T E G S T T H O S E S O T L S. Workers in 4D. I didn't get that word. What was the D word? D-E-T something. What was that word? D-E-T-E. C-T. Workers detect those. And did you say workers detect those? What was the word you wrote after those? S O U L S. Workers detect those souls. So workers in the fourth dimension decide that they can see that Icarus is his true self. Is that right? Do you remember meeting with Icarus in the fourth dimension when you would go there in between your lives? Do you remember that? Yes. No. Yes and no. Is that true? In what way? In what way do you not remember it? R H A V E L I T T L E M E M O R Y B U T M A N Y T H E A D S S H A R E D U R I N G T H O S E T I N E S. I have little memory, but many. Did you mean to write threads? I have many threads. Okay. But I have many threads shared. Did you say shared during those times? Mary, what about a leader? You told me once that leaders look brilliant. What about a leader looks brilliant? Why do they look so brilliant? What characteristics? Why? O U C A N T K N O W. Mary, can fifth dimensional people be invisible while in the fourth dimension while they are in the process of someone else's remote viewing? Like can 5D people be invisible in the fourth dimension? Yes. Can they be visible? What about being visible? Yes. And is that all true if, like, even if they're not remote viewing, if they're just visiting for any other reason, they can either be visible and not invisible? And not visible? And you know what I mean, yes. Has a leader ever made oneself, the leader, visible in the third dimension? Has a leader ever done that? No. Mary, are universal outcomes, are they decided by God, and free will outcomes are decided by entities like collectively? But God decides universal outcomes? Is that true? Yes. Mary, did I know the function of the Spirit? We talked a long time ago about the function of the Spirit, and you said that I will learn the function of the Spirit when I'm in 4D. Have I ever learned the function of the Spirit before when I was in the fourth dimension? No. But I will, if I become my true self, I'll learn that in the fourth dimension. Is that true? Mary, is there any aspect of myself right now that is not in the third dimension?